In today's video, I'm going to be going over 7 proven methods to absolutely crush your competition as a phone flipper. As you know, as a phone flipper competition, it can be pretty brutal sometimes. There's a lot of people on Marketplace, maybe some other people running ads. You got EcoATM, that kind of thing. There's all these people trying to buy phones. Here is how I've effectively eliminated all competition in my personal phone flipping business. Here's why you should trust me. 1, my name is Boston Miller, and I do consistent $10,000 a month profit as a phone flipper and growing. I do it full time. Competition is legitimately obsolete. Yes, there's people who still sell to EcoATM and whatnot around me. As far as on an individual level, there's no one who really can compete with me in terms of what I do with running paid ads and the methods I use. And every direct competitor who has popped up in my area has quit. So even back when I was just flipping on Marketplace, you would always see these new guys pop up from here and there selling a bunch of phones. They never lasted, and I'm going to tell you how you can make that happen for yourself. The number one thing is speed. Now, about 90% of phone flippers are just Marketplace guys, so this is going to be a crucial one for you. You need to reply to leads fast. This doesn't just apply to Marketplace. It would apply to paid ads as well if you're running them. But be checking Marketplace constantly. Every direct competitor who popped up in my area had quit when I was just doing Marketplace. The reason for that is because I was just so fast. There was literally no deals for them to get. And if people weren't taking my price, they certainly weren't taking someone else's price either. Now, a specific application for this, I'm going to tell you for each method what it is, and then some very nitty-gritty specific application. What you can do: check Marketplace every 20 to 30 minutes and keep safe searches. That's what I did. Alternatively, there is some monitor softwares for Marketplace, so like SniperBots, that'll send you notifications. I'm actually working on one. If you're interested, it is trysnipa.com. It should be coming later this fall. Obviously, there's been a few issues with development. If you watch the free course, you know it's a little bit behind. That being said, it will be coming out. It's going to be very cheap, as low as $20 a month, and it'll give you real-time notifications. But until then, there's some other apps and the reason I made this app is because I think a lot of them aren't that good, super buggy. This one's going to be very polished. That's why it's taking so long. But on top of that, alternatively, you can just have safe searches in Marketplace. So keep these up on your phone. And oftentimes when there's a new listing, it'll show a little blue dot and then say +1 since last search. So under iPhone, it would say something like that. That way you know there's a new one. Now, Marketplace is not a very polished software, so you would still want to check it anyways every 20, 30 minutes. Even if there is nothing there, I would just tap on this again and see what there is. Also, I would only be using Marketplace from your phone. I don't know what the deal is with Marketplace. They just nerfed it into oblivion recently, but there's always going to be ways to use the most effective tactic available. Don't use Marketplace from your computer. And there is also messaging limits as well. So be on your phone and then understand the messaging limits. You might have to just take a cool down before you can send more messages. It's annoying, but it is what it is. Send as many as you can. At least max out your limit. That way you're giving yourself the best possible chance to win. And everyone's going to have the same limit. So there's really no excuse for why you can't get ahead because everyone's playing under the same field. It's like playing a sports game and then blaming the rain or the weather, even though the other team had the same circumstance. So just take what you're given and brutally apply speed to every single thing you do. I was break even on Google Ads for about 6 months, and that's because I didn't have any sort of system in place to respond to them quickly. And once I put in a little notification system within my CRM, it would send me a notification as soon as someone filled out the form on my website. Well, now I get that notification on my phone. I respond right away. Now I make about $4 to $5 grand in profit just off of Google Ads each month. And it's my most profitable source for getting devices, that and repeat customers. So speed is everything. That's how you win. Most people aren't responding that fast. That's an easy way to get a huge leg up on any competitor, no matter who it is, specifically human competitors. So not EcoATM. But you can be very, very fast with responding. You pay better. You'll often still be EcoATM when it comes to Google Ads, things like that. Now, number 2, you need to understand who your competition is. So I've touched on this a little bit already. Like I said, there's always going to be a few other phone flippers on Facebook. It'd be very seldom that you're in an area where there's no other competitive phone flippers or people who are at least, flipping maybe 5 to 10 devices a month on Facebook as a little side hustle, you can absolutely crush them with Tactic One. Just be fast, use some sort of marketplace tracker. And then the serious competitors are going to be your store owners, people running ads, and EcoATM. EcoATM runs a ton of ads, Facebook, Google. They put out some organic stuff. I see them all over the place. Of course, my feed is going to be tailored to find phone flipping type ads, but you got to understand your advantages over each one. It's very unlikely that store owners can compete with you if you're running the same business model as me, which is just driving around and picking up devices, because they're held to their store. Now they have advantages as well. They have a set location. People drive by, people see the store. There's a bit more trust associated with having an actual brick and mortar. So of course, there's a few advantages for them as well. But generally speaking, I think it's such a leg up having that flexibility to go around with cash, meet up with people when they need it, where they need it, and make deals with them. So that's a huge leg up over store owners. Also, if you're running the same marketing strategies I run, I don't see any store owners in my area running paid ads. And also, so many of them are caught up in the repair game as opposed to the flipping game. So flipping is so much better than repairs. The margins are better. There's no work really involved. You just buy it and sell it. And these repair guys have to do all these repairs. They have to buy these cheap aftermarket screens just to make solid profit margins. I don't think repairs are worth it at all. Yes, you can make a good business with that, just like really with anything, as long as you apply good business principles to it. But flipping's 10 times better. Store owners, for the most part, unless they're just flipping, which is very unlikely, are in a completely different game. And so you can absolutely crush them. EcoATM, everyone knows their prices suck. They are very convenient, but once people know about you and understand that you're actually more convenient, and you would know this if you've ever sold a device to EcoATM, it actually kind of takes forever. So you would think you just throw it in and get cash out. There's a whole bunch of loopholes. They make you have an ID, take photos of you. The whole thing's kind of weird. And then of course at the end, they give you the worst price ever. Most people just take it because they don't think there's an alternative. So once people figure out who you are, that's pretty much your ticket to beating EcoATM forever. So understand your advantages there. Specific application would be use the EcoATM website to price devices and offer more. I do this all the time. It's very easy to win if you just look up what people reach out to you with on paid ads and then offer just a little bit more than EcoATM is. Oftentimes that's all you have to do to win because that's the only other place they've quoted it. Of course, there's those places where you actually get a box, prepaid label, and ship it in. But they rip people off all the time because once it's shipped in, they find like a couple scratches and then mark down the price. When we give offers, it's set in stone. People appreciate that. That's how you do good business, build up repeats. Those online places, they take forever to pay out and they pay out much more poorly than they advertise. So understand that. And then if you're not running paid ads, you should absolutely be running paid ads. There's not many people in the phone flipping space that actually run paid ads and run them effectively. If you're doing this, it's just such a free leg up. EcoATM runs paid ads. You can show up right next to them. I put in my Google ads, we pay more than EcoATM, and that served me really well. That's like one of my top performing headlines for my Google ads because that's who it's competing with directly. People see that like, oh, well, it's between these two and he's paying more. Let me try him. That's how you win right there. Number 3, you want to build loyal repeats. This business is all about building repeat customers. And you would think that, well, people only get a new phone once every 2 or 3 years or so. You'd be surprised. I've had repeat customers who have sold me maybe 5 phones within the last 1 or 2 months, and some even more than that. So there's a bunch of ways people are getting phones. There's a bunch of people selling phones. You want to buy more devices from each customer as well. So maybe they have an old PlayStation, an old iPad. Apple products specifically, if you're not buying iPads at least, it's literally just a larger phone. Just got to find a different way to ship it out. So you should definitely be buying those. I know if you're selling back to marketplace as opposed to selling online, those can be harder to price and they might not sell as well either. That being said, you should still be trying to do it and maybe just start selling on eBay that way and slowly move your business over to eBay because that's keys to scale. If you're selling on marketplace alone, you're going to be caught up in the traffic with all the competition and it's going to be way worse in the long run. even if short term it does seem better because you might be making a little bit more per device. Trust me, just scrap all that, start selling online and focus more on getting more devices in. That's how you make more money. Believe it or not, your margins will actually improve over time as long as you're just getting more leads, which is usually the biggest bottleneck in this business. Of course, be friendly to people and accommodating. Tell them what you offer. Get them in your network. Make sure they don't leave. I put in parentheses our story. I have this dude whose name starts with an R. I'm actually meeting him today. We'll just call him Rory. His name's not Rory, but every single time this guy reaches out to me, and he's probably sold me 4 or 5 devices within the last year, he always says, well, since I've been such a good customer and sold you a bunch of devices in the past, would you do this? So I'll give him an offer. For example, the device I'm buying today, I offered him $650. And then he's like, well, could you do $675? And I always just say yes. And I also know who I'm dealing with him. So I know he's going to say that every time. So I just offer him a little less. And I'm not one to negotiate my price typically. I will a little bit if I come in really low. But I don't really like to do that a whole lot, especially just like some goodwill, because I have a lot of customers who have sold me way more devices than him and never negotiate. But he just feels good if I accept his offer. If I don't, he's going to be really tentative and not want to do it. Some people are just weird that way, but just be accommodating on a specific basis. Understand your specific clientele, what your certain customers like, how some of them respond to you, because each person's going to be a little bit different. And for him, in that instance, it just works out for the both of us. A lot of people just like to feel like they win in negotiation or something. And I don't have any sort of ego attached to that. I'm going to end up making $100 on the device. So I don't care at all. It works for me. But that's a specific example of what that looks like and how you can work with certain customers and make them want to keep coming back to you. Like I said, this guy, anytime he's looking to sell anything electronics wise, he hits me up. So that's a good relationship we have. We're also genuinely cool. I wouldn't say friends, but every time I meet him, talk about business, life, whatever. So those kind of things, just good small talk or even beyond small talk, but build relationships, genuine relationships with these repeat customers through conversation when you meet them. Hand customers a business card every time and tell them what you offer. I'm going to go into this a little bit because I think it's really important. And I have this business card template here. This is actually exclusive to some of the week 2 scale parts of the phone flipping masterclass. It's a paid part of Phone Flippers Plus, but I'm going to show it to you guys for free today just because I think it's so important. I use this exact template for business cards, and then I say a script every time. So at the end of every meetup, hand out a business card, and I always tell people, hey, I buy a bunch of other stuff. And then if you leave a good review, I'll give you an extra $20 on the next device you sell. And yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I say, but it's basically the same script every time. Also ask for referrals, and that works very well for me. So I do that same system every time, try and buy more devices, upsell customers, and then ask for reviews. And I ask for referrals. So I'm trying to upsell them in every single way possible, extract as much value as possible from the customer to increase their LTV. And that works really well for me. So that's another way you can win, because most people don't have business cards. They're just running around flipping devices for $50 to $100 on Marketplace. So you can separate yourself by doing that, getting people to come back to you, being like an official, legit business. People will see your card, put it in their phone as a contact. They'll put you in there as the phone guy or something. And then when they have something new to sell, you'll be the first person they hit up. So make sure you're doing good business. Make sure you're friendly. Make sure you're just likable in general, and people will keep coming back to you. You don't have to be the most charismatic person in the world. Just be nice, be friendly, remember people's names. Those things right there just go a really long way. Number 4, more volume. Seems obvious, but we'll get into the specifics of it. Volume negates luck. If you've ever listened to Alex Hormozy, that's one of his favorite things, and it's so true. You're not going to get lucky in the phone flipping game. You're going to have to send a bunch of messages, and then you'll end up closing a few deals based on that. It's purely a numbers game. Most people won't do as much as you. So again, in terms of beating competition, if you just do more than other people, chances are you'll win. buy more things. A lot of guys will just flip phones. If you're able to crack into some other markets, like I said, even iPads, MacBooks, and Apple Watches, or even Samsung phones, way less competition in all those fields for sure. Of course, the iPhone's going to be the most popular, and it does sell the best, and there's probably the most of them on the market. But if you can diversify a little bit, all that other stuff really starts to add up. Send more messages, that's just the basic one, and then market more ways. On a specific level, this would look like sending more marketplace messages. So legitimately look at how many marketplace messages you're sending a day and think to yourself, okay, can I double the amount I'm currently sending? And if the answer is yes, then by all means, just do that. And you're probably going to make twice as much money in terms of marketplace. And then diversify your marketing strategy. So it's pretty capped typically to what you can do on just marketplace and OfferUp. So start running the paid ads, set up a Google business profile if you're not ready to spend money yet. Of course, the paid ads you can start for as low as $5 a day. But if for some reason you have some sort of mental hurdle from doing that, which I would say is stupid, but you may be in that position, set up a little Google business profile, get some reviews on it, let it run for a long time. And eventually, as you start to rank locally on Google, you'll get a bunch of calls. So I get over 100 calls a month for free. Bunch of text as well, people filling out my website form just from that free traffic source. So if you don't want to spend money, that's an easy way to do it. Number 5 is to have a selling system, because this is going to be really key for moving things in and out quickly. I like to use eBay and direct buyers only. You probably just use Facebook, but who knows? Could be, like I said, most people just use Facebook, but eBay and direct buyers are great because of how quickly things move. You want to price things to sell. You don't want to be sitting on a bunch of inventory and have cash tied. Otherwise, you're going to have other people coming in and buying all the good deals while you're sitting over here trying to free up some cash to buy stuff. You want to know how to quote quickly. The easiest way to quote is just look at a direct buyer sheet and then offer $100 less or however much less based on the price. So you kind of know what you're going to make on the device before you even buy it. That way you can just keep moving stuff very quickly, not have to worry about if it'll sell or not on Marketplace, or if it'll sell for the price that you thought you're going to get. Don't have to worry about losing money or anything when you have a good selling system. Specific application for this would be just make the switch now to shipping out your devices. Go through the learning process. It'll be a learning curve, of course, trying to do something new. There's a bunch of information online. I've posted videos on it. You can figure it out. It's not too difficult at all. You will hate the eBay fees at first. You'll make a little bit less than Facebook Marketplace, but then you're going to get all this time back that you used to use meeting up with people to sell the device. And now you can just use that time to meet up with more people to buy their device, which is where the money's made anyways. So you end up winning a lot. You win big time by doing that. And if you have to use Facebook for some reason, if you're still using Facebook, which I do recommend if you're a complete beginner, then use my trade-in system to maximize your device intake. At least milk it for all it's got. If you are going to end up doing that, put in the description that you accept trade-ins, and I'll probably end up making a video specifically on this at some point, but this was a little tool I used to get an extra 10 devices or so every month when I was selling on Facebook. Say that you accept old devices as trade-in and then price those accordingly, buy them and offer on them as you would any other device. That way you can make a lot more money as well. Number 6, master the basics. That sounds very vague, but I'll get into the specifics of what the basics are. Small fine-tuned details in doing the basics is consistently what will win and will set you apart from competition, because most people aren't consistent. Understand the basics, master them, and repeat. The whole thing kind of stretches across anything in life. Most people will go to the gym for a week around New Year's and then they'll quit. They'll stick to a diet for a couple days and then call it quits. It's the same thing with anything, learning a new skill. There's very few people in business who will even do the small things, the simple small things on a routine basis. And truthfully, that's what wins, especially in phone flipping. It's just sending those messages out, responding to leads, and then moving inventory out, getting it listed on eBay, buying more. It's just a quick little cycle because you're literally just buy, sell, repeat over and over. So just do that. Of course, there's some nuanced details, little tricks here and there that are a bit more advanced. I've posted videos on some advanced tactics, but at the end of the day, it's not about the advanced stuff. It's just the basics. If you can master those, you're going to end up dominating, and then you can slowly add some advanced tactics to your bag of tricks over time. But you don't want to be doing that until you have the basics down and you're consistent with that. Specific application would just be to be consistent. More specifically, send marketplace messages multiple times a day, every single day. I know they have the marketplace messaging limits now, but go ahead and max that out every single day or multiple times a day if you can. List devices the same day you get them and keep inventory moving. And in general, remove as much friction from the main focus, which if your main focus is not to get more devices in, you should seriously reprioritize your business. This has been my thing to this day. I'm always trying to think about how can I remove more friction to get more devices in. And the next step for me is honestly probably getting away from eBay altogether or things that take longer to list and test and just focus on things that are quick flips as I build more leads. And if I can keep optimizing for that, I'll keep scaling in this business, as will you. Number 7, the final point is just stick to the scripts. Do what works. I have negotiation scripts. They do work. They're in this free course on my channel. It'll be linked below. It's also the highlighted video if you go to my channel. I have negotiation scripts in there. I have over an hour of content just within that course talking about how to negotiate because it is really important. Negotiation is what gets devices in. It's less about the offer and more about the negotiation strategy. If you just negotiate properly, it's a total numbers game. It's like using a pickup line in public on a girl. It could be the worst line, but if you set it to 1,000, probably one of them would think it's funny. So that's the strategy. It's just a numbers game. Spit it out. I have a little flow charts and a bunch of documents with all the different ways of negotiation, different scenarios. It's all there for you. You can just reference that for free anytime you're in a situation of negotiation. All that is in the course. It's linked below it. So you can go to that video, find it completely free, and stick to the scripts, because I noticed even myself sometimes getting undisciplined for whatever reason, going off script, and I noticed a huge decline in the amount of deals I'm closing. And then I go back to just sticking to the basics, sticking to the scripts. All of a sudden, I'm closing deals left and right again. So just make sure you're doing the basic things right. Stick to these scripts. They do work amazing. These 7 ways, if I had to boil it down, would be the top 7 ways to absolutely crush competition. Review this if you feel like you're struggling with people in your area getting more deals than you. And remember, if they started before you, chances are you just have to do the basics right for long enough to finally catch up to them. Because every time they slip up and don't do it, that's a step that you can gain on them. So don't feel super discouraged if someone's been in the game longer than you and is ahead of you. That's just the natural order of how things should be. But if you do this stuff right, you can make massive gains on them and progress much faster than they are. So stick to these tactics, put them into practice, and you're going to absolutely crush all competition. If you want some more advanced help in tactics, by all means, check out the free course below. That's going to help you, especially if you've never started. That's going to be huge. Or maybe you've just started and want ways to scale up a little bit. Also, join the group. It's a free group. You can join it in the description below. I'm answering questions in DMs. I'm helping people in the group all day with different nuanced questions for phone flipping. So if you're interested in that, it's free. You can join with the link below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.